Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I just got done watching The Mitchells versus the Machines, aka Connected, aka Dear Studio that made Into the Spider-Verse, please make something else. The Mitchells versus the Machines is a story about the Mitchell family, a quirky dysfunctional family who go on a cross-country road trip to drop off their daughter at film school. The family stumbles into a scenario where they become humanity's last breath of hope against an uprising of computers and machines. This seemed to be another weekend where I was scraping the barrel for content. I was ready to start The Songbird on Hulu, the movie about COVID-23. As you'd imagine, certainly not my first choice, but I thought I had nothing else. Before I pushed play, I gave one last Hail Mary browse through Netflix. Hell, I don't even know if I would call it a browse. It was the first thing that popped up when I opened up the app, so I watched the trailer. And immediately upon watching it, I'm like, isn't this that, Connected movie? Did a quick Google search, and yes, this was the original title for the movie, The Mitchells vs. the Machines. Then they shifted it to Connected, and then they brought it back to this again. I don't know how accurate that information was, or the article that I read, but based on the facts, it seems to check out. Either way, hell yeah, this movie was originally on my list of movies to review once upon a time. I remember seeing the trailer for this movie in 2019 in theaters before we faced our own apocalypse. Not at the hands of robots. Then it, like every other movie, got pushed back into the shuffle of re-release dates all over the place, and I don't know. I guess it just fell off my radar, probably because it got a new name and Netflix picked it up. So this was a delightful surprise to stumble across this, for it to emerge from the ashes out of nowhere. I mean, I, like most, love the brilliance that was Into the Spider-Verse. So I've been dying to see what Sony Animations could muster up next. I imagine it's gonna be awesome. And the pros start right there, because just like Into the Spider-Verse, this movie features some amazing animation. Not only just technically speaking, everything is so amazingly clean with the use of color, light, textures, everything is crisp, but on top of that is just a truly comic book-like experience. They incorporate a lot of graphic elements in very fun, creative, imaginative ways that just gives this thing a boost of energy. Every square inch of this movie is a canvas that you just can't help but smile and stare at with childlike wonder and amusement. And if the amazing visuals and styles of this movie don't make you smile, well, first off, what the hell, tough crowd. Then the comedy of this film is sure to get you there, because damn, this is a really funny movie. Yes, it is ultimately a kids movie, and with a kids movie, the comedy bar, generally speaking, goes down a few notches. Like, people will look at it and be like, yeah, you know, it was pretty funny for a kids movie. They're like usually just enough chuckles and enjoyment for us to just endure it, to tolerate it, versus just suffer through it for the sake of the kids. But that's not the case with this movie, because it is legitimately funny, and I think it's funny for adults and kids. It's clever, it's creative, it's quirky, it's charming. I mean, I really think that there's something here for everyone. Almost even more surprising was the character work in this film. They did a good job establishing and fleshing out the relationships and characters individually of all of the members of the Mitchell family. At least I think they did a good job, but I gotta admit, I did connect with this movie on a very personal level. A dorky kid is the main protagonist of the film that's way too into movies, watching them, making them, living them. Where does that sound familiar? An uber optimistic mother, I have. A father that's really into road trips, national parks, and nature and stuff, I have. A brother who has always connected and supported the cinematic siblings' pursuits, I have. A subtle underlying opposition by seemingly everyone to the film dork's career path trajectory, because it doesn't seem like a practical option, I did have. My God, if I had $1 for every time someone tried to turn my love for filmmaking into more of a hobby versus a career. High school counselors that made me write down 3 possible career paths that would interest me. I write 1, they demand 2 more, I draw a blank. Not a lot of people thought this was a very good path to go down, but I didn't feel like I had a choice. I feel like mentally I kind of made up my mind long before I ever had a choice in choosing anything else. I'd be miserable anywhere else. So I really connected with our protagonists, the family, their relationships, everything. Everything hit on a very personal level to me. So I'm just saying there's a chance that maybe if there were some gaps emotionally in there for anyone else, maybe I subliminally filled them in with my own experiences, but maybe not. Maybe there was no gaps. Either way, it worked. I felt for these characters. I felt for this family. There were a lot of times where this movie cut a lot deeper, a few notches down, other than that surface level BS from not only other kids' movies, but other movies in general. However, this does subsequently lead me right to the cons, which is a very brief list and rather nitpicky. I found the family and character dynamics that they established in the first 30 minutes of the film so compelling that when they finally introduced the whole machine-computer uprising thing, I was kind of bummed out. Don't get me wrong, it is a lot of fun, and a lot of amazing, fun, hilarious things happen because of this plot element, and the family stuff that I loved in the first 30 minutes is still there despite the Skynet skirmish. But I felt like that amazing character and family work that they introduced in the first 30 minutes sort of takes a back seat once the chaos is introduced. Honestly, and I might be on an island here, I would not mind seeing a version of this film where no machine uprising happened. It's just this family on this road trip. Would this be a vastly different film? Yes. Would it be a better film? No idea. Was the film that we got bad? Absolutely not. All I'm saying is that I found the character work in the film so interesting and compelling that I was slightly bummed that it didn't keep center stage throughout the whole duration of the film, but it's not like it was replaced by something dull and boring. I mean, what we got was still great. There definitely would have been a lot of elements that would have to disappear in this alternative take of the film, especially the comedic elements, and I would hate to see those go. That being said though, I did find some of the comedic hits a little overboard and random at times. Don't get me wrong, most of it lands and it definitely works. It's a lot of fun, but it feels a little random at times, like the movie had a bad case of ADD. There's a lot of times when they toss a joke in so randomly that it's funny, but at the same time it feels like it kind of disrupts the overall flow of the narrative. It's not by a lot, but it does kind of take you out of it for a brief moment. Like you're watching a YouTube video of a song, it's 5 minutes long, it plays back fine except for one time it buffers in the middle. It doesn't disrupt the flow too much, but it's still just kind of like, head tilt. All in all though, I really enjoyed this movie. I legitimately think there is something here for everyone, and it is literally free on Netflix right now. This isn't a dilemma of whether or not to spend $30 on Premier Access for Disney or not for some good old-fashioned family fun. Like, it's just sitting there right now, waiting for you. I say this confidently because I know you have Netflix. We all have Netflix. We are their slave. I'm going to give The Mitchells vs. the Machines an A-. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with new reviews coming real soon. Stay safe, thanks for checking in.